In my opinion, these clone fragrances just about make the original obsolete. You really don't need to go out and buy the original if you end up purchasing any of these clones. They're that close, they're that good. It's kind of a win-win because you're saving a lot of money. I mean, think about if you were to buy all of these 10, okay, versus buying the 10 of the real ones, right? The designer niche equivalents. The amount of money there is going to be insane, right? There's so much you can do with these clones, and you can put that money towards things that are really just more important sometimes. Let's get things kicked off with Fragrance World Feroce Pour Homme. What I love so much about this one is that it's a clone of a discontinued fragrance, Light Blue Forever, which is one of my favorites within the line. It's a shame that they discontinued that one, and it really bums me out. But like I've said before, I'm less sad about it knowing that I have a clone like this, which is just about spot on. I mean, are there differences that you can tell if you're spraying them side by side and smelling them? Yes. But for most people, it's going to be nearly impossible to tell them apart. You know, Light Blue Forever, when it was available all over the place in production, it was still usually, I mean, close to $80 or so. Maybe sometimes a bit less, but generally you're paying up for it. This one is always going to be around like $35 to $40. So it's about half the price, and it's available because now you can't even get Light Blue Forever at all, you know? So that's what I love about this. And we've got maybe one or two others in here, clones of discontinued fragrances too, which I just think is super invaluable, especially when your favorite things get discontinued. It can be kind of defeating, but when you have something this good, it lessens the blow. This is a grapefruit focused scent. Grapefruit, violet leaf, kind of some ozonic notes as well. It's airy, it's light, it's very sour and punchy. It is summertime in a bottle. This next one for about $20 is Lattafa Asad. Like I said, $20, 100 ml, eau de parfum concentration. Smells just about exactly like Dior Sauvage Elixir. And I believe it to be the first Sauvage Elixir clone on the market. And if not the first produced, it was definitely the first one to get popularized. I mean, the second this one came out and people actually started getting their hands on it and smelled it, it took off like wildfire because, again, it's $20 versus $150, $160 for Sauvage Elixir, and that's discounted price. So you can imagine just the relief people feel when they know that they could get something that smells super close to Sauvage Elixir without having to spend an ungodly amount of money, because that $160, $150 that I was talking about is 60 ml for Sauvage Elixir too. You're not even getting a full 100 ml, so that's pretty pricey. This one's got cinnamon, it's got nutmeg, has some cardamom, a ton of sandalwood. Basically, Sauvage Elixir is nothing like Sauvage EDT or EDP or really even the Parfum. It's basically all about the sandalwood and the warm spices. It's mature, it's classy, it's refined. Not everybody's cup of tea, especially because being a Sauvage variant, it could be misleading. Maybe you're thinking you're getting something like Sauvage when you're not, but a lot of people love it. I love it, and I can see where people who don't like the original Sauvage would love Sauvage Elixir, and this is a great option without spending a bunch of money, and it even has great performance too. This next one is Afnan Supremacy Not Only Intense. I've never really understood the name there. To be honest, it makes zero sense to me, but it doesn't really matter. This one, is it a bit of a hybrid clone? Maybe a little bit. I'm kind of pulling some Nishane Hassavat from it mostly, and then some bits and pieces of regular Creed Aventus, but it's mostly Hassavat. And to be fair, Hassavat does take a pretty big page out of Aventus's book as far as the pineapple and the woods, right? That kind of has Aventus written all over it. But Hassavat, it's a sweeter scent overall. A sweet, syrupy, heavy pineapple. A lot of oak moss involved as well, instead of like a birch lighter woodiness and smokiness that Creed Aventus has. So that's going to be the difference there. Hassavat is sweeter. This one is sweeter. So it leans more in the Hassavat direction. That's kind of what I would classify this one as, is a clone of Nishane Hassavat. And I like Nishane Hassavat. I generally prefer Creed Aventus, mainly because I like wearing Aventus and fragrances like that in the summertime. And for me, things like Hassavat doesn't work as well in the summer. It gets a bit too cloying and sweet for me personally. However, this is still a fantastic fragrance. So is Hassavat, and it's a great option if you don't want to spend that much money. Now, Nishane Hassavat, I feel like I've said that a million times now, is also an extrait concentration. Even the original is. And so it has always been really, really, really strong stuff. This one here, it's also an extrait, okay? So they're matching the concentration, and you get, I mean, nearly as good a performance as the real deal. It performs really, really well. And again, sometimes a bit too strong in the heat for me personally. If you're looking for a sweet, heavy pineapple oak moss based fragrance, check out Afnan Supremacy, Not Only Intense. I think I mentioned the price already. Going to be in that mid $40, maybe mid $50 range, a little bit more pricey, but still doesn't come close to touching the price of the Nishane. This next one is Haramain Detour Noir. I swear every time I look at my bottle, it just gets worse. Like now the letters are crooked, it seems like. H, A, and then it looks like another A that's sideways here. And then everything else is all jumbled up. So yeah, the durability there on the paint on the front of the bottles are basically not very good, but oh well. Luckily they put different colored caps on these. So like the Rouge version has a red cap here on the top, whereas this one is black. So that would definitely help out when the paint starts wearing off and you can't tell what's what just by looking at them. And of course, this one had its little popularity run. It's a Parfums de Marly Layton clone, and one of the best out there, especially because this generally goes for $20 to $25. It's a really, really good price point, and that price has come down. You know, back when this was really popular and really taking off, I want to say it was somewhere closer to like 35 or so. And so not a huge difference, but I mean, you know, the better part of 15 bucks cheaper now just because it is just all over the place. There's plenty of stock of it to where prices have come down, the demand is over, and now it's kind of settled. You know, the dust has settled. But man, back when this one was all the rage and everybody was scrambling to get a bottle because of how good it was, you know, there was a point where it was a little bit hard to get. And that's a testament to how good and how accurate this one is, because it is incredibly close to Layton. It even has that kind of minty textured smell that you get off the opening of Layton. That also exists in here to some extent. Not quite as much, but a little bit. And I don't need to describe Layton, you know, so I'm not going to really, but just know that if you want a clone of Layton for a really good price, $20, check out Detour Noir. This next one is Afnan Turathi Brown. So I've talked about Turathi Blue a lot. It's fantastic. Now we have the new Turathi Electric out, which I haven't bought yet, but I'm going to. Joe Mashop has it, so I'll probably pick up a bottle here at some point. To be fair, I do think that at least the two that I have, blue and brown, they're incredible quality for the price, so I would imagine that one to be as well. But Turathi Brown, this is a clone of YSL Tuxedo, and there are many clones of it, of course. It's weird because Tuxedo was a pretty popular fragrance. You know, not nearly as popular as Baccarat Rouge or Aventus or Elysium or whatever, but it was and is pretty well known in the community. But for whatever reason, it has been cloned an ungodly amount of times to the point where it's almost kind of bizarre. Like the popularity level of Tuxedo to me wasn't high enough to warrant this many clones, at least the way I look at it. But I digress. And this one is really close. It has that patchouli, strong, kind of sweet, vanillic, peppery smell that YSL Tuxedo has. The spices in the patchouli, that's what it's all about. And you get that here. Gosh, I mean, it is so close. I mean, smelling it off the atomizer here without spraying it. If I had my eyes closed and I was smelling this and Tuxedo just off the cap like that, I don't know if I could tell them apart. If I sprayed them side by side, then I could, but as it sits right now, boy, I don't know if I could. They're really close. I think I already mentioned the price, $45, maybe $50 for something like this. It's about the same as Turathi Blue. It's more than worth the money. It's a fantastic quality, great performing Tuxedo clone. Let's go for Yeah, Eau de Parfum by Alhambra. It's kind of written on the wall here. We have a Y Eau de Parfum clone. But just, of course, at a fraction of the price. Y EDP, even these days, discounter-wise, is still going to be about $100 or so. This one is usually around $20 to $25, so a big savings. You can do a lot with that extra money that you're saving there as far as just getting a few other fragrances, both clones or even designers. And honestly, it's so close that you really can't go wrong making that choice at the end of the day. I can't fault people for going this direction. Not that anybody ever should, because it's not anybody else's business what somebody chooses to buy with their own money and how they want to participate in this hobby. But really, especially with how things are now in terms of pricing, just, you know, I've got no problems with clones, because some people say it's unethical and this and that. Well, there's two sides of that coin, and the way prices are being raised while bottle sizes are shrinking, that says a lot. But yeah, Eau de Parfum, it's a fantastic alternative to YEDP, which is kind of a must-have anyway. Just that smell, that sweet apple and the amberwood, blue fragrance style. You gotta have something that smells like it, and this is an option for you. Go for Voux Elegante up next. This one it's a clone of Naxos. You can kind of tell just by the frosted glass and the coloration of the liquid inside and the gold accenting. And that's what it is, and it smells really close. It is that tobacco honey combination. And Paris Corner, they do a great job with their clones as well. You know, Paris Corner, Lattafa, Armaf, Fragrance World, they're kind of at the top of the game right now. And this is yet another one where they just knocked it out of the park. It smells really close. I mean, could I tell it apart? Maybe a little bit more so with this one. Some of these are so close that I will admit I probably couldn't tell them apart. It'd be very hard blindfolded, you know, just doing it that way. This one, you know, maybe there's a little bit more of a variance, mostly just in the richness and how it presents compared to actual Naxos. This lacks a little bit, but again, at the price difference, I've got no issues with that. Okay, Pendora Amorist, another Paris Corner. You know, this one I love because, yet again, discontinued fragrance. Not this, but Aqua Amara is, and that's what this is a clone of. Look, I mean, they even copied the color. The color is just about spot on, and I'm sure they couldn't get access to the, you know, teardrop shaped, you know, water drop style Bulgari Aqua bottles, and I'm sure if they could, they might have done that, and then you would have really been ruffling some feathers there, and maybe even had a lawsuit on your hands. But this one, it's just about identical. I mean, so close. It has those florals, it has the seaweed, it has that beautiful bright orange accord that is in Aqua Amara. I gotta spray this one. I mean, this might even be my scent of the day. It's gonna be a good day for it. Sunny and 80. Man, it just, wow. Again, it is that signature white floral seaweed combo that makes Aqua Amara what it is. And this has that to a T. It is downright impressive. Highly recommend, if you want a clone of Aqua Amara, to get this one. Aqua Amara, even when it was in full production and at the top of its hype, you know, train ride, there were still plenty of people who didn't like it just because it is a bit different. So go into that with a grain of salt and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into here. There's plenty of information on Aqua Amara at this point to kind of do some research on. But I recommend it if you want something like that. Just about done. We have Amber Oud Carbon Edition. It's one of my favorite Green Irish Tweed clones. Of course, you have the classic Armaf Très Nuit, which is, I mean, it's about half the price of this one. Now, keep in mind, we're talking $20 versus $40, you know, versus $100 versus $200 as we get higher up in the price range there. So saying that, you know, that's half the price of this, the difference isn't as big as a lot of the designer and niche stuff that we often talk about. So at that point, if you toss in an extra $20, maybe even an extra $25, to me, you get a far superior product where in that instance, it's worth paying double, right? You know, you can't always say that for a $100 scent going up to a $200 scent. That doesn't always work that way. But in this case, with this price difference, it does. I find this to be better quality, better performing, and both are still really accurate, but my money is on Amber Oud Carbon. I just think it is about as close as you can get to Green Irish Tweed, and this stuff is so wearable that it just kind of makes sense to go for this one, which I believe to be better, but that's my opinion. If you already have Très Nuit, you're good. No need to buy that one until you run out. And last up for this video, we have Supreme L'Homme Extreme. It's an eau de parfum. It's by Fragrance World, and it's a clone of Ideal Extreme by Guerlain. Kind of no surprise there either. You know, they're definitely not shy about this one. And it does have that plum, it has that tobacco, it has that almond. Those three notes are the key notes that make up Ideal Extreme, and that makes it what it is and makes it stand out. And they did it to perfection here. You know, if they didn't have that combination dialed in right, of course, it's not really going to achieve the same thing that the Guerlain does. But yet again, somehow they did it. And I know they just run the stuff through machines and it spits out whatever it is, and then they produce it that way. It's not like they have real, you know, chemists and perfumers creating these. Okay, I understand that, but it still is impressive, the technology that exists to essentially clone things to this level of accuracy. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fantastic clones that make the original just about obsolete. Links to all of these will be down below, and if you want to be the first to hear about rare, discontinued, hard to find fragrances coming in stock, or really good deals on hot scents, or exclusive sales, sign up to my mailing list by hitting the link down below and entering your email. And you can also send a text, any text, to the number down below, and you'll be opted in for text alerts as well. Sometimes that's more convenient because it goes right to the home screen on your phone as a notification, versus not everybody checks their emails all the time. So if you really don't want to miss out, I recommend the text. But either way, get on there. It's a free service to sign up, and anytime a good deal comes up or something good comes into stock, I let you know. You can choose to buy it or not, and you might be happy about what you find because there's some really good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.